Welcome back to the War of Lords, where Fire Emblem's strongest warriors face each other to determine who is the strongest lord of them all. Today, the two lords entering the arena are Sigurd, the Lord of Chalfie, and Chrom, the next Exalt of Elise. Who will come out on top? Let's find out. Because some may not know who Sigurd is, here's a brief explanation. Sigurd is the main character of the first half of the fourth installment of the series, Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War. He is a Lord of Chalfie, which is part of the larger kingdom of Granvale. He is a stout and strong-willed individual. Being a descendant of one of the 12 Crusaders, Sigurd wields the Turfing, an amazingly powerful sword that enhances his abilities in battle. Big spoiler warning here. Jump to the time listed at the bottom of the screen if you want to avoid any potential spoilers for FE4. Despite his prowess as a knight, Sigurd meets a horrible demise at the hands of Arvis, the new Emperor of Granvale. While being welcomed as a war champion into the capital, Arvis turns on Sigurd's entire army, killing them all. Sigurd and Arvis are then locked in combat, but despite a large resistance boost from the Turfing, is defeated by the Fall of Flame of Arvis. Sigurd is a tragic hero in every sense of the word. He does everything right, yet is branded a traitor and in the end is killed for being a hero. Chrom, being the hero of Awakening, is rather well known, but for continuity's sake, here is a summary of who he is. Without parents at the time of Awakening's story, he looks up to his older sister Emryn, who is the Exalt of Elise. Through some terrible tragedy, Chrom loses his sister and is forced to grow up and lead a country. Chrom was also a descendant of the hero king Marth, and like Marth, he wields the falchion. And with Naga's blessing, Chrom wields the exalted falchion, a powerful blade that Chrom can use to heal himself. With story explained, let's get into the meat of things, stats. I go into greater detail of how I come to these numbers in my Marth vs. Roy video. There is a link in the description to that video if you haven't seen it yet. For this video, suffice it to say, we compare base stats and growth rates of two different games to conclude who would win in a fight between two characters from two different games. First off, Sigurd. His bases are what make him one of the most broken lords in the franchise. His most notable bases are his 14 strength, 11 skill, 12 speed, and 9 move. Sigurd is a powerhouse with stats like these. He hits hard and usually double attacks with his high speed. His growths are all slightly above average except for his HP, which is very high at 110, and his speed, which is pretty mediocre at 30. Thanks to the holy blood running through his veins, Sigurd starts as the best character in your army and ends as one of the best in your army as well. When compared and corrected against the stats in FE13, Sigurd's bases all receive a boost except for strength, which doesn't change. Notable are his increased defense and speed stats. However good his bases are, his growths all take a dip of about 3 to 6 points except for his magic and resistance growths, both remaining at 5. Even with the dip in growth rates, Sigurd is still an absolute monster. Chrom's base stats are what you'd expect from a sword-wielding lord in Fire Emblem, kind of those mercenary S stats that make them all around good but not super spectacular in any area, with the added bonus of having a great luck growth as to make them less likely to get critted. His bases are solid across the board aside from magic and resistance, which is to be expected. He boasts good speed and skill at 8 and pretty good strength and defense at 7. His growths also reflect his bases quite well. He comes with a high HP growth of 85 and decent growths across the board. If Chrom had these kinds of bases and growths in any other Fire Emblem game, he would be kicking butt and taking names left and right. No one would stand in his way, but in Awakening, high stats are the norm. Because of this, his growths and bases all take a hit when corrected against FE4. Chrom's corrected bases are lowered by 1 to 3 points except for magic and resistance. His growths all take a huge hit as well. All of those, aside from HP, dropping by up to 19 points. Now that bases and growths are corrected for both characters, we can determine stats at max level. Sigurd ends up with the following stats: 60 HP, 25 strength, 1 magic, 24 skill, 21 speed, 17 luck, 21 defense, and 5 resistance. All great stats, except for that resistance, and we all know he could have used a bit more of that. Factoring in his holy weapon Turfing, which gives plus 10 speed and skill and plus 20 resistance, Sigurd's battle stats are the following: 55 attack, 31 attack speed, 122 hit, 39 avoid, 17 critical avoid, and 21 defense. On top of these busted battle stats, Sigurd also has the skill Miracle given to him by Turfing. This skill gives him extra avoid if his HP is less than or equal to 10. For every point below 10, he receives 10 avoid. This will only last for 1 turn. Chrom ends up with some great stats at max level, all of which rival, if not exceed, Sigurd's stats. Those stats are 55 HP, 24 strength, 3 magic, 23 skill, 24 speed, 23 luck, 20 defense, and 9 resistance. Factoring in the Exalted Falchion, Chrom's battle stats are as follows: 39 attack, 24 attack speed, 114 hit, 35 avoid, 21 critical, 23 critical evade, and 20 defense. When pitting Chrom against Sigurd, this is what the battle window looks like. Sigurd's damage stat though, 35, and he is doubling thanks to the speed boost from turfing. Chrom's damage output is not quite up to par with Sigurd's, but maybe he can activate Aether or make use of that 4% critical chance. Honestly, that was about as favorable a situation as Chrom could have asked for. Sigurd missing once and 4 attacks is actually pretty generous with that 87% hit chance, and Chrom activating Aether would be pretty lucky too. More likely than not, the battle would have been resolved in the first round, with Sigurd 1 round KOing Chrom. What it comes down to is that Chrom has less than a 1% chance of actually winning this battle. There you have it. The most broken lord in the franchise holds onto that title for at least a little while longer. Maybe someone else will have a better chance against him. So I think the format for the War of Lords is going to change a bit. I think we're going to do a King of the Hill type of thing. So Sigurd will remain on the show until he's defeated or until he defeats 3 challengers. Then he will be retired for a time. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like and share this video. And of course, subscribe for more War of Lords and for other awesome Fire Emblem videos.